Hey, happy Thursday. It's Dr. Andrea with Restoration Chiropractic, and today I'm going to talk to you about how chiropractic adjustments work. I do find you'll notice that people don't really understand how the body works. Our medical system does like to keep it a little bit of a mystery, and so I'm going to explain to you what happens in the spine when there's a misalignment, why you feel pain, and then why chiropractic works. So this is a spine, okay? This is the back of the spine. This is the front. This is the base of the skull up here. And then the brain sits up here. The brain stem and then turns into the spinal cord, which goes out through this hole. And then the spinal cord runs down through all of this, in between all of these bones. And then coming out in between each spinal bone, there are these spinal nerves. So we all know that the brain controls everything in the body, right? So what happens is the messages start in the brain that control all of you, and it travels down the spinal cord, and then these messages come out these spinal nerves to keep your body alive. So that's how all of your body works. And what can happen is because the spine is movable, I want you to take a look right here, because the spine is movable, if this bone moves out of alignment, it can actually put pressure or interfere with that nerve. And so the messages from the brain to the body can just be interfered with. They can either be, compressed, or they're not getting through quite the way they should. You have to understand there's a lot of stuff going on with the anatomy. There's cerebral spinal fluid flowing through here. There's nerve impulses. There's muscles that are attached to these bones. When this bone misaligns, those muscles are going to get tight. That's going to cause you pain. Depending on how the nerve is pinched, it could be sending shooting pains down the nerve, which can create like radiating pain down your leg or into your fingers or your arms. So the chiropractor's job really is to find out where these misaligned bones are, but that's not just it. We also need to determine, is it affecting how the nerves are communicating? And then our job is to adjust the bone off the nerve, restoring that communication from the brain to the body, and that's how we restore physiology. So let's talk about how chiropractic works. Well, basically, at its most basic level, we're going to take a joint that is not moving properly, and we're going to restore normal motion to that joint, okay? And that's going to have a lot of positive effects. So in between each bone, there's a disc. This disc has a fibrous outer center and then a gel kind of like core. In this fibrous outer center, it does not have its own blood supply. So how it gets nutrients is through a process called imbibition. Think of a dry sponge, like putting a dry sponge on top of a puddle of water, how it soaks up that water. That's exactly how your discs get their nutrition. So what they need is good motion in order to soak up the nutrients from the surrounding tissues. So chiropractic is going to, number one, restore motion to this joint, which is going to be good for the disc. It's going to make sure the disc is getting lots of lubrication and lots of nutrition. And then by putting this bone back into normal alignment, any muscles that are around the spine, those spasms will naturally start to release. You need to understand the body does everything for a reason. So if you have muscles that are spasming or muscles that are tight, they're doing that to protect an area that they view as weak. So if you relax those muscles, but you don't solve the area that the body is viewing as weak, then the muscles are just going to tighten back up again, or you're going to potentially put yourself into a position where you've just destabilized an area that your body was trying to get stable. So that's how chiropractic works. First of all, we move that bone off that nerve. We restore that communication from the brain to the body. That allows the body to start healing. Secondly, we're going to restore motion to the joint. And then third, all of the muscles that are surrounding the area are going to start to relax on their own. I always like to say there's a primary cause for pain and then a secondary. The primary is whatever's causing it, whether it's a spinal misalignment or something wrong with your structure somewhere else. And then the secondary causes of pain are often the muscle spasms and those kinds of things. That kind of stuff does tend to get better quickly. Changing the spinal structure takes a little bit longer, but it doesn't take as long as like having braces on your teeth. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, reach out. If you are suffering from anything that you think a chiropractor might be able to help with, I really encourage you to reach out and call me. You don't have to suffer anymore. Chiropractic care is very safe, it's very effective, and it does work incredibly well. So if you have any questions, would like to come in for a free consultation, I would love to talk with you. My number is 818-661-6369. Thank you. Have a good day.